Hey, what up, what up? What's going on? It's your boy Bodyguard back again with another post, y'all. Today I am joined by a good friend of mine, right? See, I've known her since probably about middle school, probably about what, fifth, sixth grade, and then I went away for a minute, came back, and then she was the smart girl in my class. So today I am joined by none other than the CEO of Think Pink Insurance, right? And if you are thinking about getting some insurance or doing something that could possibly help you or your family members later on down the line, should you have an unfortunate event, this might be somebody you might want to have in your Rolodex of numbers to call, guys. So introducing Miss Kristen.
Hi, Charles. I want to first of all just tell you thank you so much for having me here. Like, this is kind of my first time doing something like this, and the fact that I get to do it with somebody that I know, it just makes it like fun. Like, I just feel like I'm back in the day chilling with somebody. So I love it. My first, I think, real memory of you in middle school, I think it might have been Coach Fisher's class. You're a Coach Fisher? Okay.
Yeah, Coach Fisher.
Health class. So those of you who don't know, health class. And you've always been like in really good shape. And I really wasn't in middle school. I was kind of a chubby kid. And so I just remember like I'd see him in health class and it would kind of like motivate me, like, Chris, you need to get on your game. Cause he just always looked like athletic. I'm like, so anyways, but he was always kind. You were always kind to everybody. And so I just always appreciated you. I appreciate your energy and who you are. And I'm really just grateful to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. And once again, thank you for coming. Sometimes there's, some people who will tell you they're going to show up and then they might not. No specialized digs at anybody, but, I'm just saying. But, I appreciate you coming. I'm looking forward to getting a chance to talk to you, spend some time with you, and pretty much dive a little bit deeper into what you got going on with Think Pink Insurance. Because since I've seen it, I have been like deeply interested in what it is that you guys actually do. I know that you guys are in partnership with Brothers Motors, and you guys do have some car insurance stuff going on with that, as well as the sale of cars. I don't know if you guys focus more on used or if you focus more on financing, or how you guys do that. Is it new or used, or what is that with that?
I appreciate those questions. Yeah, so sometimes it's kind of confusing, and it was really hard for me to articulate in the beginning. Like, what do you do? I'm like, where do I start?
Right.
So about 8 years ago now, me and a friend, we came together. We started a pre-owned car dealership, Brothers Motors. So we got that rolling, and then not even a year after that, I was financing the cars. So he's the buyer. He would buy the cars, get them ready outside for sale, and then I was inside setting up shop and getting the financing stuff going. So I started selling the cars inside, and I was like, man, I'm referring this car insurance outside. I'm like, if I'm sitting here financing, spending my time figuring out all the numbers on this side, like, I'm not gonna send them somewhere else for the insurance. I got my license. I set up my own insurance agency. Actually, the first name or brand I gave it was One World Insurance, because I've always had this mindset, like, just one world, man. Like just God's people here working together, doing what's right. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, when they start in business, it's just about helping people. Like, sometimes you get so far away from that as you do so much business, because some people hurt you, right? And so sometimes you get jaded. But like, that is always where I bring myself back to that. And so over time, though, I decided to sort of switch up the branding to Think Pink.
Okay. Cool. So how did you come to Think Pink? Because I know when I was first developing what I was doing here at Bodyguard TV, I didn't quite know what name I was going to go with. And all of the names that I've had over the years, I didn't give them to myself, guys. All right. These nicknames and stuff that I were going by, this wasn't stuff. I had one nickname that I picked for myself, and it was trash. So we're not even going to bring that one up.
I know, I'm curious.
but how? What was it? What was the defining event that made you land on Think Pink?
So what it was I have struggled my entire life, honestly, as far as being a small kid, with suicidal thoughts, honestly. So I just thought, like, to give myself a name that would remind myself, like, when you're feeling blue, think pink. Because then I would tell myself, when I was getting down, like, don't be a hypocrite. You named your company Think Pink. How are you going to sit here and act sad or act any kind of way? So it was really an affirmation for me to stay positive, stay up. And that's truly where it came from.
Wow. And see, that's one of those things that's like, it's those small, minute reminders that keep us on the beaten path, because it's so easy to go astray, especially in today's world. Like, it's really easy to be led astray. Like, you go outside and somebody cuts you off, and then boom, now I'm thinking red instead of pink, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to, having those reminders that keep you doing what you're supposed to do, I think is very, very important.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And that's dope. That's dope to me. So, but she's always been a dope person, y'all. Always been a dope person. Like, I just remember she would sit over there in the back of the class and she'd be over there doing her work. You know what I'm saying? But from time to time, you see over there chuckling, and she'll pop out and tell a joke. And it was just those silent sleepers that'd be like, okay, I want to remember this girl. Because I was over there with the class clowns. You know what I'm saying? Coach Fisher's always like, hey man, you need to eat the weights. You gotta hit the weights. See, Williams is hitting the weights. Washington's hitting the weights. Y'all had to have been there.
Yeah, had to be there. Had to be there. And where we like in that school, like you had to keep that fire inside you, because at any given time somebody might come for you. So I was on fire. I was always ready.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's a quiet fraternity,
Yes,
but the thing that I will say about Lancaster is that we have like almost like this quiet fraternity thing. It's like, if you look up, like especially in that class of 05,
I was thinking the same thing, especially in 05.
If you look up in that class from 05 to 07 here in Dallas, Texas, right now, the top level people in the elite positions of the city probably, maybe, might, sort of, kind of, might be from Lancaster. Now, I ain't gonna say no names or nothing like that, but it's some top level people that have come out of Lancaster High School. I graduated Lancaster, then I went over to Prairie View, right? And our saying for Prairie View was that Prairie View produces productive people.
Love it.
Right? But I will say that here in Dallas, Lancaster is beating the mess out of Prairie View.
Really?
Yes. Lancaster is just like that class, like I say, that class of 05 to 07.
It was special.
And it's anywhere you look. If you go to the clubs, there's a certain club promoter that, he's one of the hottest in the town, right? We man, I'm just gonna say, hey, Lil B, man, we see you.
We're about to do some name dropping. I already said
right. We see you. Dallas Elite. Hey, we see you. We rocking with you, man. You know what I'm saying? It's but like I say, it's quite a few. One that I would like to mention, Dorwin DeRoe.
I was thinking of that.
You know what I'm saying? He ran the rap game for a little while out of Dallas. He was one of the top tier. He's still popping up.
Yes.
Right. So
those beats
it's
are
like,
fire too.
Right. So this is a guy who came out of this class group that is a part of that quiet fraternity.
Yes.
That you like, well, wait a minute, this can't be true. DJ J-Lon, that's another one. This guy, he DJs from all the way, you know what? And I think he did hit radio for a minute, but this guy DJs all across the land of Dallas. I'm talking about corporate events.
Wow.
Right. Like this guy, he just doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. So, but here again, it's that quiet fraternity, and we kind of keep it right. It's a little soft bragging going on here, but it feels good to be a part of a group of people who are relevant in the city, because before we got recognized in 04, 05, before we got recognized, they was looking at us like we was trash. Yeah. Right. And then we messed around and became a recognized institution, and then from there it was off to the races. Yes. And we have seen that, especially with the track team all the way up, and then we start kicking butt in academics. Right. Yes. And that was the part that surprised me. But that was our class that started that.
I know. I'm thinking of so many names. I ain't going to say your name right, but like we had some. And for me, I'm always looking at women. I'm like very educated women in our class. Like, So, anyways, it's a blessing to be there for sure.
Right. Most definitely. All right. Cool. So let's go ahead and get off the Lancaster train, right? And let's dive a little bit more into you. So if you had a few pieces of advice that you could give anybody who is in your position, or somebody who might be able to take advantage of some of the jewels that you've picked up along the way, what would you tell them?
First and foremost, where everything started for me was when I decided to get on my knees and pray. because before 2018, I did not have a relationship with God. I never grew up in a house that we didn't go to church. There was no God in my house. Got in a relationship for a long time. There was no God in that relationship. And then just turn of events, really tragic things started happening. And I got so desperate. And again, me already struggling with my mental capacity and stuff. I'm like, but I have my two sons. And I mean, from the second I had my first son, I guess that's truly like the first thing. It was just like, oh my God, I love them so much. And I just knew, like, I never felt like I received that kind of love, but I was like, these are brand new little lives. The love I pour into them will be returned, right? So I've always raised my kids with so much love. But then in 2018, just everything was going down. Finances were down. Everything was just to this point where I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I just started waking up. I can't even say I woke myself up. God was waking me up every morning, 4 a.m. Get up, get up. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with this time? Because I don't want to just like waste the time. And because I'm in such a desperate place in my life. So we had a little spare bedroom. I would go in there and I would just start praying. And then from the praying, I started honestly researching quantum physics and started learning about all this other stuff. And then from there, YouTube videos from quantum physics started showing me yoga videos. So I started doing yoga, started getting my body right. I drank all the time. Like I look like a mom with 2 kids, like truly. So it was like, it just started with God and then God opening a doorway. And I was not in a position to move slow. So I was like, oh, I see a little peak. I'm going to go just take our run.
Right.
And then from there, like from me, I would say that was February 2018. I started praying. April 2018, so a few short months later, got a call from an old friend I used to work for him, asking me for a business partnership. And that partnership has now turned into a few other partnerships. It's not just Brothers Motors. I have partnerships with other companies too. And it's just been a blessing. And I could go on forever. So I'm going to stop for a second, see if you had any side questions off that.
Okay. Yeah. So I hear you talk about your faith being the cornerstone property of your basis in growth, right? And I think that we might do some due diligence in being able to give anybody out there who's listening to us right now an opportunity to understand exactly what we mean when we're talking about growing in faith, right? Because there are quite a few core principles that are out there, right, that you can get mixed up. And without the proper guidance, you'll just miss it completely. So would you like to give the people a few places where they can go to get that spiritual connection strengthened, where they can go to...
I'm really glad you asked that because that's crucial. Because what people will do when they decide to turn to God is start idolizing other human beings, thinking that God's flowing through all of us, right? And you have to give grace to every single human being. But for me, it was the quiet time in the morning where it was just him and me.
Right.
There was no other voices. So I started being able to recognize what voices were mine, maybe if you want to say the devil's or the adversaries, or which one was not, and which one was God literally and it was always the one that just felt right. It felt divine. It felt in accordance to the 10 Commandments, right? It's like the Bible's huge and there's so much in there, but like we could just boil it down to those 10 basic rules. And so anyways, for me, it was just a quiet time with God. I would say that's where you need to start. And from that, I just joined a church. So this is an 8-year process of me and God. And I just joined a church 2 years ago because I had so many trust issues. I didn't even trust the church.
Ooh,
okay. I don't know where to go from there.
I've had some experiences myself, so I completely and totally identify with that, but because I get it. Sometimes you are looking for something and people are telling you that, hey, this is the way to go. And then when you get there, you find out that, okay, well, wait a minute, there's got to be some more to this, right? And I think that's more so what I'm aiming to hit for most people, because you hit that right as a nail on the head, right? Because sometimes it's not going to be the same path for everybody.
That's very true.
There are some people who make their way to the light by way of tragedy. There are some people who make their way to the light by way of fortune. There are some people who make their way to the light by way of connections.
That's true.
Sometimes you run into somebody and they bring the best out of you, right? So I think that it's one of those things that, and especially to hear you say that, you know, hey, for me, it was my drive, it was my focus, because not a lot of people have that. Like that's not something that's like easily done. Like people don't just wake up in the morning and say, hey, you know what, I gotta go, and this is the way I'm going, and then have the discipline to carry it through, right? And for me, watching you over the years, I would have to say that that's probably been the most impressive thing that I've seen from you is that you took that stance and you stood on it. Like it was just, this is it. This is who I am. This is how I feel. And 8 years later, because what most people don't realize is that at the same time I was watching you build Think Pink, I was starting my MMA career, right? So, and she actually, funny story, guys.
I love this story.
She was actually one of my very first sponsors that I've ever had. Now, I have been fighting for about a good 7 years before I ever got my first sponsor, right? And I know people are like, well, wait a minute, how is it? Some of it was pride, some of it was just not knowing, you know, and some of it was just, you know, not running into the right people at the right time, you know. So it is what it is. But we had recently made that connection. We had a conversation, and then we were like, hey, I like what you're doing. This is great. How can I help? And I said, well, I don't really know how to ask you for help. Right? Because I'm not really, that's just not really ever been a thing for me. Like, especially growing up in my household, it was 4 of us. So it was 4 boys, right? Asking for help wasn't on the table. It was like, it's 4 men. Y'all got to figure it out. Figure it out. Now, I ain't saying we couldn't go ask for help, because I had 2 loving parents and they both did really well. So, you know, help was there, but it was like, all right, come on now. You got a little bit more in you than that, you know? So it was always that. There's
expectation. Right.
There's expectation. There's always that soft push, you know? So now, you know, and I learned this from my dad. It's like, you know, sometimes you have situations that are crippling, and then you have situations that are lessons to be learned, right? When I was on the football field, I was a little boy. I get injured on the field. Well, I get hurt on the field, right? And he asked me, he say, are you injured or are you hurt? Now, this comes from a movie called The Program, right? It's a football movie, college football movie. Great movie, right? You haven't seen it? Go watch it, right? So he asked me, he said, are you injured or are you hurt? I said, what's the difference? Injured, can't play no more. You got to go sit down. You're done for the day. Hurt, you can still play. Now, you can come off the field for a few seconds, but you can still play. So I was like, I started looking at life that way.
I love that.
Right? Anytime I came across a situation that I felt would be the end, I would immediately start thinking about, okay, where do we go from here? Right? Now that we've taken this is the absolute. Now that we've taken this contact, where do we go from here? What's the fix? And that has been a cornerstone property for me that has kept me able to pivot and move. It bolstered my ability to solve problems like at a new level, because I was never willing to accept defeat. You know, so it's that. But like I say, because I don't know if you want to talk about this, but I know you recently came across a situation that you too had to apply some strength and, you know, kind of get through it. Now, I won't share. Right.
I'm an open door to everybody.
Right. Okay. So I remember you going through a cancerous situation.
Yeah.
Right. And that's you know, I don't want to get hit by HIPAA or anything like that, y'all. You know, but right. You know, you're not supposed to, you know, put other people's stuff out there, right? But at the same time, watching you fight through that, you know, first off, it was heartbreaking, because you don't think that. I mean, cancer doesn't have a criteria. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be a certain type of person in order for it to come in contact with you.
Right, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
But watching you find the strength to go through this and raise these boys and build this company and do this and do that, and then my car went down. It's just, but you just right. So it's just amazing to have watched it in real time. You know, and we've always been like right up the street from each other, right? But it's amazing to have watched you pull yourself up. You know, I got a little bit of a recovery story myself. I just hadn't told anybody yet. I hadn't said anything about it yet, because it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Anybody who, I disappeared for a few minutes, right? Well, I wound up getting hit on some weird accusations, right? And when it comes to the law, they don't play.
Right.
Right. They gotta check it. They gotta take a look at it. They got to. Gotta take a look at it. Don't matter what it is. It's like, hey, okay, such and such said, all right, we gotta look at it. Right. Just I'm so grateful that once I said, hey, now let's call that to the light. Let's call it to the light. Come on, bring it out. They didn't have anything to show. So
gotta see it all the time,
right.
man.
So I was able to walk out of that one, and that's how I got back. And I'm slowly but surely building myself back up. But it's just one of those things to where you just never give up. And like I say, that's one of those, especially when I seen you start going to F3. And I was like, those guys over there, because I know Johnny. I know Johnny's a great guy. I know
Evan Cuts, the Witcher, shout out.
Yeah, Evan Cuts. I know those guys are great guys. You know what I'm saying? We used to go over there and train with those guys. I know Cody was over there for a minute.
Yeah.
We go over there and train with those guys, but they were like those roughneck tough guys.
Yeah, a little different breed of Lexi.
Right. Like, never say die attitude. I was like, I don't know. I think Evan might be doubling over as a secret agent somewhere. I don't know, man. Him and Johnny, man. They both. But like I say, it's great to watch you progress, because everybody has a starting point.
Yes.
And I think the thing that I'm most proud of everybody who I see that's in my circle is the fact that most of us have got dealt the short end of the stick.
Yeah, man.
None of us accepted it.
Yeah.
None of us
I don't
accepted
think our parents would live in this town if our parents probably wouldn't give in the short end of the stick too, right?
Well, I don't think this part of town is a bad part of town. I think this part of town was exactly what it needed to be.
That's true.
Right? At the onset of it, it was like, because when we got here, it was like us, just one black family, and there's another black family up the street. That was it.
Okay.
Right? So that was when we got here. It was like 91.
Okay.
Right? So it was like really, really, really just like kind of segregated. Like it was
sacred. That's
right.
that's what I was thinking.
Right.
Yes.
So it was kind of a progression to see it go, change over. And then now it's just like completely like Deano. Like I can't, you know what I'm saying? I go outside, you know what I'm saying? And I might find a bag of tortilla chips on the side of the road. Like it's just, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Like not to say that it's a bad thing. It ain't a bad thing at all. But it's just I've seen I've seen it just go from to other sides, which for me, hey, what am I going to say? Like
we all come from somewhere, that's for sure.
Right. So,
but it's the thing about like you having to go through what you went through, and then the cancer. It's like I always tell myself this ain't gonna probably be the last time I go through something, right? It's gonna be something else. So it's like I love what you said. Like you just pivot. You find that, and me too, man. It's like I don't have time, and especially like I have two teenage boys. They're teenagers now, but especially when they were young, I'm like, first of all, when I had cancer, I was pregnant, so I had my surgery while I was pregnant, and then after I delivered my baby, they gave me a few months. And then I had to go in for radiation and chemo. And I got really sick, but a big driving force for me was ain't nobody else raising my kids.
I heard that. Oh.
So that's, my kids have always been a driving force as well. And then just wanting to show them that, hey, you can come from nothing and build yourself up. Because even if I did come from something, or if I was given, opportunity without having to work hard for it, and I gave that to my kids, who's to say my kids wouldn't squander it, right? So you have to teach them, even if you could give them everything you wanted to, how to go get it for themselves, right? Right.
That's like I say, it's that go-getter. That's a very, very important concept that is missing in a lot of the people that I've been seeing here lately, which is quite scary. But it's like we always used to say when we're in the field, right? I always tell the parents when they have to come to us to get their children, right? Tell them, now that you've gotten your children back, you might want to make sure that you take them home and spank them. Because if you don't, they're going to run into a guy like me who is trained to spank them, and you're not going to like it. So make the sacrifice, do what needs to be done, rear the child.
Yeah,
It is what it is. Because if you
that's
don't,
whose job it is.
right?
The
If you
parents.
don't, somebody's gonna come get a hold of them, and then you're gonna be like, "Hey, I didn't like that." Like, well, you had the opportunity
Yes.
to fix it,
Absolutely.
right? So go ahead and do your due diligence.
I love that. I love that, man. Because the children are the future. It's like we have to. For me, like I'm like I don't give the school the responsibility. I don't give anybody else the responsibility of my children. Now, like they go to school, that's fine, but it's my responsibility on how they turn out because they're living in my house. I set the tone for what they feel, and so and I've been really blessed that since I did turn to God, we moved into a house, and I was able to make my house so peaceful. So my kids did these last 8 years get to grow up in a very peaceful environment where they got the opportunity, but everybody doesn't get that opportunity. And so I don't know. I don't know necessarily how to like, it's a big thing on my heart that we just started a nonprofit, which is something I really want to talk about. And it's for women and children. And I just want to figure out a way to communicate with parents how we can raise our children better. Because they are the future, right? And right now, I don't know about anybody else, but like it's very uncertain times, which, not to say 10 years wasn't uncertain, 20 years wasn't uncertain. It's, it's going to be that way sometimes, but I don't know. I just feel like the more we're progressing as a world, like we should be getting better. And it doesn't feel like right now today in the world is that much better to me.
Well, I will say this. When they talk about being the change that you want to see in the world, right? I hate to put it this way, but in order for you to change something, you have to learn to invoke emotion, right? The underlying change happens in people through their minds, hearts, and spirit, right? So without a spiritual connection, then they won't have the opportunity to be moved in that format, right?
Yes.
Without acknowledgement of one's feelings, they won't have the opportunity to be moved in that format, right? And without one being at least in tune with their emotions, then they won't have the ability to be moved in that manner. And at that point in time, that's when you have situations like tragedy that has to swoop in and make a change, right? But if you crossed over all those thresholds and you've learned the lessons that God has set out for you in those situations, then you are able to impart that knowledge and wisdom back to other people. Sometimes it's just as simple as, hey, this is what happened to me. This is what I did to fix it.
Yep.
Right?
You're right.
You can lead the horse to water all day long.
You're right.
Can't make them drink, right? But what you can do is you can pick up some of that water and move it a little closer, right?
Care and compassion,
right?
Yeah.
We watch lakes and ponds get built up over here all over the place. We see dams on rivers and all kind of stuff redirecting water, right? So
yes.
we do have the ability to move some things around and make it more accessible. And I think that's one of those things that we probably all should be willing to do. Now I ain't saying do it for free.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
We gotta take care of ourselves,
right. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So that's just that's just the long and short
and that's
of that.
A really important topic because I think especially for anybody who might be starting in business, like I gave so much stuff and I'm still sort of guilty, but I'm getting better. Like so much stuff away for free because you're just excited that you're in the position to lead a company or to lead whatever it is, an organization. And so then, and you do want to help everybody, but that's kind of going back to what I said before, but then you realize you're helping all these people and people will burn you because they don't appreciate it if you don't make them work for it, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Gotta tap the appreciation chord. Say it is what it is, and until you get burned, you don't understand, right? Because I know for a long time, like I've been doing this for a little while now, and I've had those situations where I've gotten burned, but I learned to adapt and not allow it to shake me.
Of course.
Right. So I just adapt and move on.
Yes.
That's it. right? Because most times they have to turn the corner and come back around the way.
Yeah.
And as long as that's one of the cornerstone properties that me and Rodney Cox, which is my business partner, that's one of the cornerstone properties that we, and excuse my French, but we say no ho shit. Right? No ho shit. It just just straight in your face, boom, like that. No ho shit. We're not doing anything to anybody that we wouldn't want done to us.
Yeah, that's just integrity.
Right. Just flat out, just integrity. That's it. Right. So it's just one of those things that, if you, like I say, if as long as these parents are willing to give their kids some core values and principles, then they can make it anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not that hard, right? Maintain integrity, right? Be trustworthy, right? Be on time, right? Right? Keep your word, right? Don't steal, right? Don't hurt anybody, right? Don't these are basic, simple principles that will take you beyond your wildest imagination. But all you have to do is just...
It is.
Right.
But let's talk about if children are growing up in households where that's not what they see, right? If their influences, which mom, dad, or whoever their guardian is not doing those things, where are they supposed to learn it from?
Well, chances are they might get an opportunity to learn it from one of us on a screen like this, right? So that's what these forums are for. These types of places, these forums are for that, right? Because most times you might not hear it at home, or you don't realize it, but your mom and dad are stuck in survival mode, right? So they're stuck in survival mode. So they've pressed you into thinking that this is all life is, and this is all there is to offer. This is all life has to offer you, is this right here. We're just stuck. This is it. Get what you can as fast as you can, however you can.
And that nervous system that they have bleeds into the children. I'm God bless my mother, but she had a very traumatic upbringing, and so she's an awesome person. She's very loving, but her nervous system kept me in that mode for so long. That's all you know to do with my brothers. So yeah, it's sometimes the children learn before the parents, and then the children can help the parents, as they're aging and stuff in that way. But there's so many different family dynamics, so it's hard to know what's the one way to help everybody help their children, right? Because there's so many different dynamics. Right.
It's always a different way to the path. It's like math, right? You know what I'm saying? How you got to 2 + 2, you could have been 1 1 1 1 1. You know what I'm saying? Could have been 2 and 2. Could have been 3 and 1. Could have been whatever, right? There's so many different ways. And you just got to pick the one that fits for you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So one more thing that I do want to know, right? Because we've covered where you came from, right? We talked about how you got where you are, right? Now at this point, I want to know, where are you going?
Love it.
Right.
So, where am I going, man? So 4 weeks ago, we created Think Pink Soul Sanctuary. We like to just call it Think Pink Soul for short. It's a board, me and 6 other women, and we've put together our mission and our vision is to help women and children be resource centers for each other. And so it's something I'm most excited about. I do auto sales and pre-owned car sales. We do auto, home, business, life insurance, which I was very blessed a year ago this month. I was approached by a gentleman, Andre Pennington, in Arizona, and he asked to create a company together. So it's Universal Wealth Property and Casualty Insurance. So we've been building that over the past year and bringing in agents. But Think Pink is sort of transitioning, right? Think Pink Insurance is still there. It's still fully licensed and operating, but I'm sort of we've merged into Universal Wealth, and I'm wanting Think Pink to come more into this nonprofit space where it's a mission to help people. So, in all essence, a church, right? A community of women and children that can come together by way of singing, praising, dancing in a safe environment. Because again, if I can only speak for women because I'm not a man, right? But if I can help women who have come from homes where they were in survival mode, and then maybe they were moms really early on and they just never got the opportunity to relax their nervous systems.
Right.
I would love to be the space where they can come in. Our office actually has a prayer room. People can go in there one-on-one. I have an altar in there, a rug. You can lay down and pray. We go in there in groups and pray sometimes. And, you know, it's not for any monetary gain, but I feel like the best way to help the world is just these one-on-one conversations. Like, just right now, this me and you, I've gotten something from the things you've said. Hopefully you've gotten something out of something I've
Absolutely.
said. And even sometimes when I say something out loud, after I say it, I'm like, maybe I don't really mean that, but saying it out loud does something, right? Like, and so I just feel like the more one-on-one conversations we can have with people, it'll help these women. It'll help. You don't have to have children. You can be married. It's not any kind of type of woman we're looking to bring into the community, but just to help them. And if they do have children, it'll help their children. And some of those children are male children, right? And they're going to grow up to be big, strong men. I'm raising men. I ain't raising no little girls, that's for sure.
I heard that.
So
I heard that.
Trying to make the world a better place where you're at, right?
Right. You know, and by all means, guys, when you're out there, just do the best you can, right? Sometimes that's all you got.
Yeah. 100%, man.
Do the best you can.
But we're going to the top. I never want to go backwards, ever. It's always progression, moving forward. God has done great things by bringing this group of 7 of us together. And again, it's not exclusive to women, right? So I got this opportunity to be on here on your show. You're a man. I have another gentleman who wants to help us with some things like processes and things like that, because I've never ran a nonprofit before. I've served on a nonprofit, but I've never seen all the intricate details of it, or a church. So God is just working so hard, and I'm just staying in tune to him. I want to keep myself clear so I can receive what he's giving to me. And I don't know, we're just going forward. We're not going backwards. We're growing amazing companies with amazing people doing amazing things, and just excited to see where it goes.
Right. Well, I think you got as long as you got your faith,
yes,
and you got works, then I think you pass, right?
Love it, yeah.
But they say faith without works, it's dead, right? So, you know, you keep it moving, stay on the beaten path. You've always been one that struck me as the type that has their head on their shoulders at all times, right? Never slipping, never lacking. You know, for y'all who don't know what that means, you know what I'm saying? She stays on her P's and Q's, all right? She has all her I's dotted and her T's crossed, all right? So, yeah.
And we're always looking for, just one other thing, like if you're looking for an opportunity to get licensed, work for yourself, insurance is so great, especially for single moms, because you can work from home.
Right.
And getting the license is not that difficult. You don't have to go back to college or do anything like that. So, I mean, if you are looking for an opportunity to work in insurance or finance, or maybe you want to be a car finance person, like finance cars, like we can teach you how to do that. Just want to be a resource for anyone looking for a career opportunity. If you want to be part of the church, the nonprofit that we're building, please, you can email me, thinkpink@pinkops, and it's OPPS, it stands for opportunities.com. Email me there. You can call us at 817-301-2683, and you can go to thinkpinkinsurance.com or thinkpinksoul.com. That's a new website, so it's got a landing page. We're still working on it. And I'm also looking for somebody who can manage our websites, because that's not my forte, but we're doing our best right now. So anyways, but just get at me if you need anything, if you need a resource, and you don't have to be a woman. It's just I'm a woman, so I can speak better to women, you know? But yeah, we're always looking for people looking for us.
All right, cool. Well, like I say, I'm always grateful to be in your presence. I am always grateful to give you a platform to speak, and hopefully later on down the line, we can make some things happen, and probably, you know, do this on a more permanent basis.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah,
no limits.
Right. Okay. So, all right, y'all. This has been another episode of Bodyguard TV's on Bodyguard TV. No, I'm just messing with you. Y'all know I got to tell a bad joke here and there, you know. But yeah, this has been my post for the evening. I appreciate you all taking the time to watch, right? And I'm going to flip it back over one more time, because I always say that you can never give people your information too many times, right? Somebody might have missed it the first time. So we're going to throw it back up on screen one more time. And if you would, one more time, just go ahead and give it to them.
All right. So we have few different companies. So Brothers Motors is in Haltom City. You can go to brothers-motors.com, see the full line of inventory there. You can click apply online, get finance. I am a finance manager there. I will help you with your finance. And also when it comes to cars, I don't just sell cars. If you don't understand how to read a finance contract, I am going to explain all the numbers to you. I love math because they don't lie. So we can go through all of that, even if you just want some education on it. Think Pink Insurance is my company. You can go to thinkpinkinsurance.com. We offer auto, home, business. We also offer life insurance and annuities, and that's under the umbrella Universal Wealth. I have a partner with all these things. That's another thing I want to say. One person is so capped. You're so limited. Look for good partnerships. But thinkpinkinsurance.com. You can call our office anytime, 817-301-2683. And our nonprofit is a little new, but there is a website up, thinkpinksoul.com. And you can email me anytime at thinkpink@pink, OPPS, stands for opportunities.com.
All right, y'all. And we're going to get on up out of here. Catch up with y'all a little later.
Appreciate you, Charles.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And we out.
Love it. That was perfect.